Yep. So this is my personal best in Rayman All Magicians. I really like this category, so the goal of the category is to complete all the magicians in the game. There are 11 of them, and they are the bonus levels. So right now, Rayman cannot do a lot of things. He can just walk and jump. And we are going to see a magician right away. So the way they work, you need to have 10 things, which are those blue orbs, in order to enter a magician and complete his challenge. And so they all have some sort of a gimmick with certain type of platform, and it's a timed challenge. You have to collect a certain amount of things in a certain amount of time. Usually it's not too bad. You can make a few mistakes and be good. And yeah, so this category doesn't require cages because it doesn't require to actually finish the game. So the only things that I can do at this point in the game to speed myself up is use those vines and do what we call vine boosts, which is buffering a jump from the vine before you even grab it, so that as soon as Rayman grabs the vine, he can jump from it on the first possible frame. So here I am visiting Bettilla the Fairy. That's the first encounter that we have with Bettilla. She is going to give me the punch power up, because I did not start with punch. And punch is useful for hitting enemies, obviously, and breaking cages whenever you do go for that. And here punch is going to be useful for some plum movement, so I'm gonna use those plums to move quicker by manipulating them as best as I can. So you see me avoiding all those cages, because when you break a cage it plays an animation, and that's long, that's about 3 seconds. Here I actually got a very, very good plum pattern, but Rayman wasn't on the plum. And I got somewhat lucky that the plum still landed in the water. That's what I want to do. I have a setup to do that, but I was thrown off by that very good plum pattern. And yeah, in the first level of the game, Pink Plant Woods, there are actually 2 magicians in the same level, so we are going to do the second one now. So it's fairly standard platforming. What I can say is that Bettilla that we just saw, we are going to see her 4 more times in the run. We have 5 power-ups to collect in order to be able to complete all the levels that we need to. So here I'm just gonna go back with that plum into the water and finish the level. So yeah, just some more vine boosting. And after that we are going to go to the second level of the game, which is called Anguish Lagoon. And in that level there is no magician, but we are going to find the first boss of the game. And so here as well I'm going to manipulate a cycle. So I jump at the left side of that platform, and that manipulates that swinging plum cycle to be as optimal as I can. Here I'm going to damage boost to get past that hunter more easily. And here I am going to fight against Bizet in this arena. We can speed up boss fights in this game, all of them, by doing some unintended hits. Here I tried to do a double hit, but I failed it, so I had to go for a backup. So Bizet always goes to the top and middle of the screen, so I'm hitting him at some precise positions so that he's as close as possible to the top and middle. And here, since I missed the first hit, I'm going to, on purpose, not take that one, and take the one right after when he's already up on the screen, because then for the last hit he's just going to go up to some location off screen that is up, but he's not gonna do that path to the middle as well, so the goal on the last hit is just to hit him as high as possible. Yeah, I'm spawning a couple of secret lives. There are plenty of them in the game. I don't really need them since magicians give lives anyway, and I'm not doing any death abuse in this run. But yeah, we beat Bizit and now he's our friend. How lovely. So this auto-scroller is not as simple as it seems because it has triggers to go fast and slow. And so I am manipulating my position. Here I'm going to the left because I know the screen is going to go slow here. It just went slow, so I'm going to the right to hit the next fast trigger. And so I'm basically avoiding the slow parts this way. And yeah, here I just drop back as well to not hit the slow trigger too soon. And just like that, we are going to encounter Betula a second time. And this time she's going to give us the power of hanging on ledges, which we couldn't do that before. We could not. And now here's something very interesting. In any percent after this level, we go to the forest, but here I'm gonna go to Bandland. So you have the choice between the two. And in any percent, we want to go to the forest to get the ring grab ability, but here we don't need that ring grab ability because it's used to do a skip in that very level actually in Bongo Hills that we don't do because it's to get a cage early. And so here I'm just gonna go through Bongo Hills and then Allegro Presto to get the helicopter power up early. And so as you saw, the screen introduces slippery platforms, which are going to be there quite a lot throughout the run, and they are very fun. You can go fast on them. You saw me fist boost, which is punching, charging your fist and punching, and it creates a force and you're pushed the opposite direction. We are going to use that quite a lot. Here I'm just following the casual route for now. And yeah, here I got damage boosted by that anti-tune onto the platform, which was quite odd to me. I've never seen that happen in those circumstances, but it threw me off a bit, but nothing, nothing major or anything. And so here on that next screen, I'm going to do a trick called the zip. So the way it works is I'm gonna set it up here by jumping on the rocket and the ground tile at the same time. And here I'm going to position myself properly and boom, zip. And here I'm doing another setup. And so if you didn't catch that first zip, I'm going to do it again right here. This one is fairly long. And zoom. We zoom through the ceiling all the way to the end sign. This could technically work in some other places, but funny enough, there are two that we use in the speedrun and both of them are in the same screen. So in this screen I am going to go to a hidden area where there is a magician. And that magician that I'm going to visit does, its gimmick is the slippery physics. So we're gonna see if I can manage that. I don't quite remember if I did any fist boosting in there. It's actually pretty hard, this magician, if you want to optimize it with fist boost. I think I just went for normal strats by hanging and just moving around. I probably did one at the end. There is one at the end that you can do that is not too hard to do. So yep, you can get that cool rolling animation. I'm just damage boosting through him. By the way, I just reconnected to my chat. So in the chat, if you have any questions or any things that you want to point out about the run, you can just type it out, and I'd be happy to either answer questions or give more, more info on the run. Yeah, all these spots where there isn't a lot of things happening can be used for donations. Here, there is something happening. I am counting the number of chocoballs that I walk on, because this one specific chocoball is safe from the insta-death spikes at the bottom. And so if you've played this game as a kid, you might remember those being pretty annoying, to say the least. On this set of chocoballs, you can always be safe, but on the first one, we manipulate it to always be safe. Whereas if you were to play this casually without paying attention, you would die instantly with those spikes. But yeah, we do a lot of damage boosting, especially in this category since we have health refills so much. But here, I'm just damage boosting through this guy. I remember in the run I even said here that I was happy it wasn't an any percent run, because in any percent at that time you are on 1 HP when I got hit the second time. Another difference with any percent is this big P, I skip it here. Usually you have to get it. And yeah, I'm going to end Bungo Hills on that and enter Allegro Presto. And Allegro Presto is a pretty scary level because there are a lot of frame perfect tricks that you can do along the way. And you're kind of praying to get them. I don't think I got any clips here, but I tried a lot of them. Every time you see me crawling like that, it means I'm trying to clip. Because I know at which specific spot you can clip. Oh, actually, I think I did clip on the second screen. I got this one, but this is a backup clip because, funny enough, I think I had too much speed to do the other one that I tried. Now, the trumpets section, you actually might remember that if you played this game as a kid, because it's pretty hard casually. And a lot of people get stuck here. A lot of people get stuck in that level, actually, because Bandland it's a pretty big difficulty spike. Also, it's probably a good time to mention that I am playing the PS1 version of the game. This game has a lot of different versions, and they are all very different from one another in terms of content. Like the cages are placed in different places, some screens are different. And so yeah, I'm playing the on the fastest version, which is PS1 version. I'm also playing on a PS2, so that means I can use the fast disk speed option to have faster loads. And also I'm playing on the American version because this game runs at 60 FPS on NTSC and 50 FPS on PAL. And the reason why it matters is because the game literally runs faster. The speed values are not adjusted. So if you were to play on an European version, it would look slow motion compared to this one. And so yeah, this magician's gimmick is the chocoballs. So I'm having a pretty good route here because I can, at the end, I could stand on that last chocoball. And coming out of this magician, actually I do some pretty cool movement here by getting taking the slide by going to the left a bit. It's overall faster. Perfect. Yep. It is perfect. I'm trying to clip again. Still no luck, but oh well. And yeah, here there is no collision. That's why I was able to clip. For some reason they didn't put collision here. And yeah, on that section we can see the full potential of fizz boosting. I really like that strat, and it was really well done there. This screen was very, very good. And yeah, say hello to Mr. Sax and say goodbye to Mr. Sax, because we are not going to fight him. He is not required in this run. And as a matter of fact, we also skip him in any percent. That's why he has his own category as well, which is Beat Mr. Sax. And now the whole reason why we went there, Betila is gonna give us the helicopter ability. But we cannot yet proceed through Twilight Gulch, because for that we would need both helicopter and ring grab. And the game is pretty well made. We tried to sequence break this a lot, but never really could get past Twilight Gulch without both abilities. Otherwise we could go straight to the mountains and have the running power up. Oh yeah, I'm showcasing the Grimace here. And so this screen also has its own gimmick. A lot of screens in this game have their own gimmick, and that's quite charming. That's one thing that I really like about this game. So here Terrazen gives you the magic seed that helps you plant flowers. And so with those flowers you can climb this auto-scroller. But yeah, I can take the time of this auto-scroller to talk about that route of getting helicopter first, because it does lose time on the world map, and because we had to see an extra forest slide. Those slides appear each time you enter a new world, like a world that is different from the one you were in the last level. But we do make up for that difference by using some strats that involve helicopter in this level and the next one. Also, auto-scrollers in terms of marathon runs are pretty good times for donations and such. But yeah, Swamps Screen 2, the Swamps of Forgetfulness Screen 2, which is this one, is usually a big run killer, like the early game run killer in any percent, but here it's a walk in the park, really. With helicopter, you just move like that. People doing the old route had a trick here with a camera manipulation that was extremely precise, but I can just grab that cycle, that plum cycle, like that. Now, the magician in the Swamps of Forgetfulness that we are going to visit now is considered to be the hardest magician. For me, at least. And I think for a lot of people. Because it's not that generous with time as well. But yeah, its gimmick is the swinging plums. And yeah, depending, yeah, I think I did use helicopter. Yeah, I punch here and then I use helicopter to grab those last two. Small optimization. And here the first proper helicopter strat. I can just straight up make that gap that I couldn't otherwise. Otherwise I would need to use the swinging plum and lose some time doing so. And just like that, we are off to Mosquito's Nest, where we are going to fight the boss of this world at the end of this level. But here I'm just going to go on plums, because in Rayman 1, Rayman can't swim, if you haven't figured it out yet. So I don't want to fall. And here I can use helicopter to jump way earlier than what I would be able to otherwise. Here I have a consistent method to dodge those piranhas. Casually, they are very annoying. If you've played this game, might have been annoyed by them. But yeah, here I forgot to mention, that is a newish technique of hitting plums that I called the boomerang way, where I use the the knockback from the fist to hit the plum, and since the fist comes back, I can punch right after that again and have almost like 2 punches at the same time that way. Anyway, here helicopter really saved me. It's pretty good to have some backups like this, and I can do this very cool jump as well. I can do that. I really like this magician with helicopter. And also, for the movement out of this magician, previously you had two strats. Either you took the photographer and did a death abuse, but it was slow, or you did a very precise damage boost on an orange fruit to go back. And here I'm gonna take the same route as the damage boost, but I won't need to do the damage boost at all. I can just hover my way here. And so here was another helicopter plum. Not helicopter plum, boomerang plum. The plums are pretty cool. Pretty cool strats in this game. I really like the plum strats. That next screen with helicopter is also very nice, because there is this trick called the one cycle that I'm doing, where I do very precise jumps to catch all of these flowers in the very good cycle, but then I can extend it with the helicopter, and then I can do a very cool jump like that. But you're visually, like you see that it's kind of tight. I failed it 2 times before getting it, but when you get it, it's very nice. And coming up, I'm gonna do a trick called camera manipulation, where I will turn to the left. And so cycles in this game are local cycles, which means everything that gets far away from the camera gets deloaded, and then when the camera approaches, it gets loaded in. So by manipulating the camera, you can deload things and then reload them, and you will always get the same cycles this way. So this is another auto-scroller where we are chased down by Bizet with this big fruit. What we think there are a couple of lore theories, such as Bizet is actually a good mosquito, and Mosquito, the red one, is controlling him, and that's why he was bad with us and he wanted to fight us. But then after we fought, we saw that he was actually very kind and he was our friend, but now he's getting possessed again. That's a version of the lore that I like. But then again, in the PC version, I believe they have the same color, so you could think that it's just the same mosquito. Anyway, here there is another helicopter only optimization where I can just not care about the swinging plum and go through that gap. Vine boosting is a bit harder with a helicopter. You have to cancel your helicopter first to be able to buffer the input, but it's possible. Here I'm gonna try the double hits again, but I believe I fail it again. Yes, I fail it, but you will be able to see it because I'm pretty sure I get it on the third one. So yeah, there is no RNG in this game, or like no RNG that matters, except for one part. But I will point it out when we get there. So what that means is I know in advance what cycles Mosquito is gonna do, so I can manipulate my position to get the most out of it. Like when he was dropping his fruits. Also here I skip this hit intentionally, because that way he gives me faster cycles. The next hit he will do, he will try to hit twice, which means I can hit him twice, and with this double hit method. And so yeah, here I'm staying to the edges of the screen so that he carries the fruits for the less amount of time possible, because he drops them on top of Rayman and he moves slower when he is carrying a fruit than when he is not. So yeah, here again I'm trying to hit him at specific spots to have the best paths to the middle and top of the screen. Except for that last hit. Actually, I'm going to hit him when he is off screen. Right here. And he is currently going up, except he's doing it off screen, which is pretty funny. And now we are going to see Bettila for the third time. Fourth time, my bad. It's the third time in any percent, but here it's the fourth time. And she is finally going to give us the ring grab ability. And ring grab is very cool because this game is broken in terms of rings. There is this one exploit that is called speed locking. Basically, speed locking is holding up or down while you are in the air, and it conserves your momentum. So here I'm able to keep the speed that I get from the ring all the way. And you are going to see some more of that later in the run. Every time there is ring, really. What you can also do with rings is hold jump, and then you can pretty much what happens in the game is your punch will connect to the ring, then you will jump off the ring, then your punch will connect again. You can basically spam your punch into the ring with holding jump. And we are using that quite a lot in combination with speed locking. So here that first screen wasn't the best because I lost a lot of HP by doing mistakes, but thankfully I managed to get out of the bad situation. Ideally I want some HP here to do an extra damage boost, but that is okay. I just won't be able to do it in this run. That is another auto-scroller. We are going to be chased down by Mr. Stone. And Mr. Stone, we are going to see him again. We are going to fight him in 2 levels from now. So here I'm just dropping down and going to follow him. If I had 1 more HP, I could have taken a damage boost to stay in front of him. And yeah, thankfully there is a life in that boulder, so it doesn't really matter anyway. And here I'm going to damage boost of him and do that same speed locking technique. And what you saw me do is also ring tapping. So instead of spamming my fists on the ring, I'm just doing it once. I time my inputs so that Rayman punches once into the ring to just get a bit of height. And you can gain some height from rings this way, and it's very nice. You can control your height when you're getting good at it. This level is called Hard Rocks, and we are going to see a magician in this level. And this screen, funny enough, has 2 ensigns, and we are going to take the secret ensign that is right here by doing some cool ring movement. There are 2 screens in the game that have 2 ensigns. This was one of them. So here I'm just going to go to the magician and complete his challenge. This one is the disappearing cloud magician. This one doesn't really have any particular strats, it's just jump on the platforms. Got really speeded up. Some magicians have interesting strats. This one is not one of them. During this one we could also do donations or something like that. Messages. But yeah, after that magician, there is a cool jump that you can make that I didn't make there. But yeah, right away, as soon as I get HP, I damage boost, and yeah, I can actually make it into that cloud that I aimed for. It is possible. Here it might not look like it, but it's also a camera manipulation because I was facing left for a certain amount of time and then I turned around to have the cloud be where I want. Also, smallest auto-scroller in the world. Here I'm just damage boosting to go a bit faster on those hangs. This section I am just doing a lot of health management. I know exactly what my HP needs to be at all times in that level. Oh yeah, here I just randomly tried an extremely hard trick where you have to do a lot of frame perfect inputs in a row. But if I get it, it saves about 14 seconds, I believe. So I kind of I've just been trying it once on the way every time now. Just because one day it might work. It's a super jump, by the way. So here I'm getting HP, so what am I going to do? Damage boost! And so here I tried to skip, but I kind of failed it. It's okay, I just went the normal way. What went wrong is I landed onto the cloud instead of getting damaged onto the cloud. First I landed and then I got damaged. After that is another gimmick screen in Mr. Stone Speaks. So I'm going to break the boulder to give back the guitar to the musician here. And the musician gives me a potion that gives me the super helicopter power. And that is a temporary power up. We only have it for this screen. And yeah, so when you do that initial movement to the right or to the left with the super helicopter, you gain a lot of speed for some frames. And if you can speed lock that by holding up, then you can keep that speed. And so that's what I'm trying to do as much as possible here. So the way it works, super helicopter, is when you press X to helicopter, you can press X again to gain height. And I'm using some cool movement tech because you cannot stop your helicopter by pressing X again. But what you can do is press square to punch, and that cancels your helicopter and that helps you drop down faster. Now the gimmick of that screen is cutting the ropes with your hair, and if you didn't know that as a kid, you probably got stuck again because the game doesn't really explain you how to do that. I mean, to be fair, it kind of does explain it because it's in the demo that plays when you boot the game. There is this part of the gameplay that is shown. But if you skipped that, then yeah. And it's pretty much an auto-scroller from then on. It's just wait until the water reaches a certain level, then you can drop down and go to the end sign. So here there is a strat that exists where I can damage boost off those spikes above me, but I'm not doing it on these spots to keep the cloud that I was riding spawned in. If I were to do the damage boost, it would despawn the cloud. But hey, I want the cloud to be there. This is an auto-scroller section, and here actually I had 9 things, and I should have grabbed those 3 things, and I realized when I saw them, because there is no thing on the way between me right now and the magician, the next magician. And yeah, here the cloud is still there, otherwise I would have needed to take a longer route. But on that second part I could damage boost. Okay, here I am going to be wanting short, which had I catched that early enough it wouldn't have been a problem, but I'm going to have to do a detour, unfortunately. Also, I cut the sound to obviously don't not have the live commentary plus the post commentary, but the music and the sound effects of this game are very good, very very cool. So yeah, here I'm realizing, so I'm gonna just get a ting and go back. I could have went to the hidden area that is below me as well. There are some hidden things there. This magician's gimmick is the bouncing clouds. Some cool tech that I didn't mention is if you helicopter onto a bouncing cloud, it gives you max height, so that's why you see me doing that. Also, there is a lot of phase boosting in that screen because, well, it's the mountains and there is snow, and snow is slippery, obviously. So yeah, here I tried to do a fast strat by jumping over the trigger, but it failed, so I had to resort to using the casual way of getting through. So if you were stuck and you were wondering how you're supposed to navigate this part, this is how. Oh, that was a bit of a rollback on the video. And yeah, we are reaching the end of the screen, and after that, it's going to be boss fight time. And the Mr. Stone boss fight is pretty broken, I must say. There are quite a number of unintended hits that we can do by damage boosting off of his boulders that he throws. And you notice there is a P. So whenever I get more HP, I damage boost more. So I'm just going to damage boost off that. Here it's important to hit late. It might not have been obvious, but it's a very precise timing to hit. Yeah, I'm going to damage boost again from the boulder that he's going to throw from the top. And once again, there is no RNG, so I know the cycles. And as soon as I am on 1 HP, I am taking that big P to be able to damage boost again. Here I punched him, and that's actually important because it was figured out. Actually, Tex found out that if you punch Mr. Stone, he's going to jump quicker here. And I am showcasing the Grimace again because I am going to lose my Grimace power-up. Because I am going to get the running power-up from Betilla. And the running power-up is on the circle button, which is also the Grimace power-up. And so after that, I'm just going to go to Picture City. Now that we can run, the game is going to be much faster, obviously. So Picture City is another big difficulty spike in the game. And here I am going to do another camera manipulation to have the same cycles every time. And here I turned around to do another camera manipulation for the last pencil to be up. So in any percent there is this strat called 1919 strat that allows for a refill just before the boss fight on the next screen. But here we have the magician at that exact spot, so it's pretty convenient. That means I can do pretty much the same thing as I'm used to in any percent, except I don't have to worry so much about things. As long as I have enough things to enter the magician, it's fine. And we are introduced to Small Rayman. I don't think we've seen Small Rayman yet. So those fairies can transform Rayman from big to small and from small to big. And we need to be Small Rayman for that section. Small Rayman, he's quite slow, but he has one thing going for him. His damage boost speed is pretty fast. And when you can consistently frame jump with that, as I just did, you can zoom through some spots. We don't see Small Rayman a lot in this run. And here I'm just going to enter that magician. And so that one has a lot of bouncy pencils. And what I'm doing is I'm doing some precise helicopters to avoid getting bounced, because that is slow. I think, yeah, on this one, it wasn't too slow. Okay, it can be slower to get bounced. So I'm trying to avoid it. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward magician. This magician is, I think, very good to take if you're playing this casually and you have trouble. Yeah, here I have very little leeway with my HP. I can only lose 1 HP, or else I will start to lose time and I lose an HP. So here it was some interesting situation right here. So I mentioned that there was one instance of RNG that was important, and it's going to be right here. So there are these two pirates, and you have to kill the pirate that is on the ground first, and then you have to punch the bucket where that second pirate is. And the way he throws his bombs is RNG, and it can throw you off. But that doesn't really lose time. If you get a bad pattern, it's just annoying. And now Viking Mama, we can do a lot of damage boosting to get unintended hits on Viking Mama. So when she throws her knives like this, you can damage boost and hit her. However, if you do that on the very last hit, it has to be at an extremely precise timing, otherwise you softlock the game. And the way it works is that Rayman does his victory dance at the end when he defeats a boss fight, and he will never do his victory dance if you do it at the wrong timing. So in the marathon I probably will not be going for the last one, but here you can see how it looks with the setup that we have. So yeah, this boss fight goes by pretty quick with all the unintended hits. So yeah, I have to wait for a specific visual cue and then walk to a specific point. And here he's doing his victory dance, so that means I didn't softlock. Pencil Pentathlon is another interesting level. This one doesn't have a magician in here, so yeah. First off, I'm doing this very cool skip. It's an unintended jump. And I am on 1 HP because I got hit as well. So yeah, it's pretty scary to be on 1 HP, but it's okay. It happens when you get damaged on the way to the boss fight like I did. Here I'm gonna try a trick called easy jump, but I failed it. I was too slow on my inputs. And the next screen is another super helicopter screen. The difference is that we now have run, so what we will do is use the run speed and speed lock that, then go into the super helicopter, which means we can conserve running speed when we're in a helicopter. A good example of that is just after those yin yangs. Here I currently speed lock my running speed, so I have the same speed as when I'm running. And here I failed a trick, but it's okay, there is a P and there is a life as well. Now this section is pretty scary, but it's okay. Because hitboxes? Hitboxes, anyone? Yeah, Rayman's hitboxes are pretty weird sometimes. You can see me dancing around spikes sometimes. But yeah, since we start this section with 5 HP, it's not really a big deal. I can get damaged a couple times and it's really not the end of the world. That next section probably got some people stuck as well. With all the bouncy platforms. Thankfully there is a setup that we know of to consistently get out of it quickly. Here I can make that actually to that sharpener. And after this leap of faith, I just finished the level. So we have 2 more levels left, each of them having a magician, and they are very scary. So we're entering Space Mama's Crater, and this level is pretty scary because it has a very big trick called Stormer Skip Skip. And I have to get it first try, because if I fail and die, my ting count is going to be reset to 0. And I have a magician right after that trick, so if I fail it and I die, not only do I lose the time by failing the trick, I also lose even more time by having to do a big detour to grab things to be able to do the magician's challenge. And so here I was also worried about my ting count. I was worried that it would be too high, but it's actually okay because there is pretty much no things on the way. Here I just tried once a super jump that if you get it, it's a pretty big shortcut. You would pretty much jump and where these things are, end up there. Here I am climbing rings with that technique I explained earlier of tapping punch while holding jump. And so this is the trick in question. It's pretty impressive. And at this point I was so happy to get it. Get it first try. That is. So I tried to do a cool strat where you can roll here and conserve momentum, rolling momentum for a bit. But I couldn't. I was arguably not really nervous, but I was pretty excited at this point. So I was on a good pace, you know. But yeah, it's not too worrisome to make mistakes in most magicians because a lot of them are very generous with the time that they give you. Here I still had 7 seconds apparently. And here the only big mistake from the run, I died there by straight up running into the void instead of jumping. I jumped too late. And yeah, here I just did the trick again to go back to the same spot. But I only lost time because of dying, and I didn't have to do an extra detour, so it was okay in the end. It was the biggest mistake of the run, but it was not that big. And here I am setting up what is called speed storage. I had a lot of speed from that slippery platform, and if you jump from an event like this, like the sharpener, you get a lot of speed. It works with this cloud as well. And here I break it by rolling and touching walls. If you do the rolling animation, or if you touch walls, it resets your speed storage value. And yeah, here I took a safety photographer. I don't need it in the route. It's just in case I die, I respawn here. And there is the boss fight, Space Mama. So Space Mama is an interesting boss fight because we can also do some unintended hits on her. But it's a pretty long fight as well that is scripted with a lot of phases. There is this first phase where you can hit her a couple times. At a maximum, you can get 4 hits in that phase. I only got 3. And here I am going to try and double hit her by making her turn around. And so basically what happens is that her invisibility frames run out by the time she has finished her animation of turning around. So here she is going to throw some pots at me. But once again, I know what the cycles are going to be, so it's not an issue really. A lot of getting good quote unquote at this game is knowing what is going to happen. That's why this game in a speedrun, in my opinion, is easier than on a casual playthrough. If you haven't figured it out yet, I think this is a good speedrun. And I like this game very much. And after this phase is the washing machine phase. I have to hit the washing machine, but I can only get so many hits in. It basically has a cooldown before being able to be hit again, so I have to time my hits. And after that, she also has another attack pattern where you can double hit without having to damage boost. And that's going to be the next one. So if you hit her before she hits the lasers and she throws 2 lasers, you can try to hit her again. And here I didn't get it. But because I know the cycle, I know she's going to throw only 1 laser here, so I am hitting her in the middle of that animation, so it skips it. And I can try again with the 2 lasers to do a double hit. And turns out this time I got it. So that was a pretty good fight. I got 2 double hits out of the 3 that you can go for usually. But I only got 3 hits in the first phase, so yeah. Crystal Palace is a very scary level, as well as the last one of the run. And yeah, ring strats. So here I could have went the whole way, but I saw that I was too low and I had a very good reflex of going to that ring. But you can technically do that for the whole screen. And there is this cool strat right here, completely bypassing the way you're supposed to do it. I grabbed the P just in case I was slow on HP. And here I realized that I had a very high amount of things. And that is a big, big problem. Because in this screen, there is a photographer that you can take. But if you take it, you are essentially soft locked because it's at a point in the screen where you cannot go back and there are not enough things on the way to the magician to have 10 things basically. So I cannot take the photographer here. Otherwise I am soft locked. Or I need to finish the level and do the whole level over again if I want to access this magician. But I realized that, I think there is literally no thing on the way. So I can go there with my 99 things, which was very scary. And thankfully I was right, there is no thing between me and the magician. So that was a big relief when I saw that magician and my 99 things. And yeah, this magician has some ring strats that you can do. I tried to do them, but it's usually you want to be pretty safe with it because it's at the end of the run, especially when you are on personal best pace. Yeah, you can do it quicker than that. I still went for, some speed locks. And time is when I take the last thing, which is now. And so yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. I hope you are as interested as I am in this game and this category. And I hope it gets into the marathon.